Hi, Tom Coogler, coach for Buckeye Cable and BCSN, and welcome into another edition of Sports Flash. Got some exciting basketball opportunities for you here today. Mr. Chris Darrington, star of Scott High School basketball team, and a tremendous basketball coach, Coach Fred Coogler. Gentlemen, welcome. Chris, start with you. 32 in the program, 24 points a game. I know the points thing aren't a thing with you, that you're a team guy. I know you always talk about your teammates. But what did it mean to you, and let's touch on one thing in that area, what did it mean to you to get that 1,000th point? Because to me, as a player, that would be something that I would never forget and be kind of a surreal moment. Explain that.
It was a feeling I never felt before. You know, I cried tears of joy. That had never happened to me before. But it was just a testament to all my hard work that I had through the years. You know, I used to wake up at 5 in the morning, get to the gym at 6, and work out before school. And after practice, you know, stay late and shoot, you know, and it was just, you know, all that hard work paid off, and I was so happy about it. You know, I just kind of cried.
It was a neat spot. I saw it on one bit on BCSN, and I think Dr. Durant came out and he had a shirt for you, and the whole. I mean, it was just, I was so happy for you, because I think when you do, I think it's a great lesson for all the young people that watch BCSN. If you have the right attitude, which you have, and you're willing to work hard, which you do, you respect your teammates, which you do, great things can happen to you.
Right. You know, my teammates, I love my teammates, all of them, you know. It's not me breaking down my man one-on-one all the time, you know. My big guys set me great screens. My point guard gets me the ball where I like it, you know, and we make the extra pass, you know, and a lot of times I'm just in that spot and I can put the ball in the hole. Yeah,
and people have learned in basketball and in any sport, but especially basketball, hey, LeBron, as great as he is, he can't win by himself. Right. If he doesn't get the pieces, you know, he's just another great player on an average team. So that is well said, Chris. Coach Fred, yes, I respect so much. I've gotten to know you so well because we do a radio show together at Scott. And I respect so much your approach to the game, your approach to young people. You know, you say the right things to them, you do the right things for them, and it's a steady, consistent, you know, you're never, sometimes coaches, you know, they swerve wildly. You know, one day it's this and the next day it's this. You're always right down the middle. You know, it's Fred's Law. Here's what it is, here's what you do, and I respect that so much. Where did you get that kind of approach? Because it's hard to come by.
My mom and dad, a lot of people ask me, have I ever been in the military? And I told them my mom and dad was military enough for
me. They were enough military for you? Yeah.
And so, and it was wonderful. I have great parents. So.
Well, I know you get joy in seeing young people become young men like Chris, and I've interviewed some of your other players, and they're like Chris. They're total gentlemen, they're team guys. Explain the joy you get when you see this maturation of these young players.
As Chris was explaining about his 1,000 points, as tears of joy, it's tears of joy to me, you know, to see the young men gel together and be able to come together as different ones that's going to different homes, but when they come together, it's one body, one family, and so it's great joy.
And Coach, I know you believe, because we have the same philosophy, and that's why I admire you so much, I think, is that sports is one of the best teaching classrooms that there is.
Sure.
Because explain how, you know, somebody in your team is really, you're prepping them not to win the next game. Oh, by the way, you're 14-3 and undefeated in the city, which is great. But it's not necessarily the next game. You're prepping them for then in life when they lose a job, or their wife gets sick, or one of their youngsters gets hurt, or something's wrong, that they get themselves up off the ground. Yeah. Don't feel sorry for themselves and go out and compete in life. Talk about that a little bit.
Absolutely. There's times when some of the players will do certain things, and I will sit them down. And I would sit them down, and I told them from the beginning, Tom, if you don't do as the team rules and regulation is in place, then you will not play, because I'm going to teach you life lessons.
Right.
Because it's not just about basketball. Basketball is only a fourth of the loaf. And so, you know, I'm going to teach you everything that I can teach you.
Yeah.
And so they've been following suit extremely well.
They've been taking orders pretty well. Chris, I know you have a tremendous support system. I know that. And talk about the support that you've gotten besides Coach Fred and your teammates. I know you have a good support system.
Right, my family shows up to every game, you know, packed, you know.
What does that mean to you that they're there every time?
It's like, you know, if you can't spot anyone else in the crowd, you always can
you
spot
pick
your
them out
family.
right away?
I always can pick them out. I always look up at them before the game starts.
Do you have them sit in a certain section?
Oh, no, they just chose that section. So,
Okay.
you know, I look up there, and I know if I throw a turnover and I look up there, I see them shaking their heads. But, you know, when I do something good, they're also they're also, you know, cheering me on also. Also with the support system, I had a lot of great coaches over the years. You know, Coach Key was one of my great coaches. You know, Coach Chris, who's no longer with us.
Yes.
He was also a great coach. And,
Yes.
you know, I got Coach Fred now. You know, so that's all tied in one.
Yeah. If I would ask you, for all the young people that watch you, you know, you're a very visible guy on our network, and you know we're on doing the highlights every Friday night, and you're on and you're making shots and you're doing all kinds of great things. So a lot of young kids look up to you. Mm-hmm. If there's one message that you'd give a young person who wants to excel like you've done, what would that message be?
You have to have a work ethic. You know, not only in basketball or whatever the sport you play. You know, you have to have one in school also. You know. Coming in freshman year, you know, I wish I would have known that, you know, and I had to pay for it now.
Right.
So I would always tell the littler guys around the school, you know, you have to take school serious just like you take basketball serious, you know, because don't make the same mistake that I made freshman year, you know. Right. So I try to help them.
And now you're fixing it now and you're getting
Right.
the job done.
Yes.
Yeah, and you're going to play in college and
Right.
do well academically. So,
Yes.
guys, on behalf of Buckeye Cable and BCSN, couldn't be prouder of what you're doing in Scott High School basketball. It's an exemplary program with great young men, and we wish you the best. It's winding down, undefeated in the city. You got tournaments coming up, which is always an excitement time for all of us. So we'll be watching you on BCSN. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right. Tom Coogler, coach for Buckeye Cable and BCSN.